My name is John Tate. I'm a Commercial Leadership Associate and I work for Standard Life. Basically, I'm on a management trainee scheme and I move around the company every 6 months. I joined as a graduate only a year ago now, so I'm a year in. I've done 2 placements and I've got 2 placements to go. The whole point of doing it is to learn about different areas of the business, so that after your 2 years you really know about what's going on in the different areas and what it involves to become a leader in those different areas. And it also gives you an option to work out what you're good at, what you're not good at, and specialise in what you're good at. My third year in university, I thought I have to try and do an internship so that I don't have to find a job in my 4th year at uni. That was my aim, to make sure that I could just focus on my studies at my 4th year. I went to the SECC Careers Fair, and that was kind of an amazing thing because there's so many companies all giving you all the information you wanted, and I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. I think I'm someone that's driven to do what I'm good at, but I don't really know what that is yet. And it was a 10-week place, and then after the end of the 10 weeks, Standard Life offered me to come back and do the graduate scheme, which meant I could go away and do my 4th year at university and come back and know that I had a job. At university I did technology and business studies, so I specialised in accounting and environmental technology, which was quite a different mix of subjects. There was only about 5 people at university who did the 2 of them together. I knew I didn't want to do a 6th year at school. I got really good grades my 5th year, so I went to a lot of open days. I went to the open day at Strathclyde University. I just got talking to this one person about the course, and he talked about how you could do different subjects and then specialise. In my school it was very small, so you had a very limited choice of what subjects you could do. So I did maths, English. I really wanted to do modern studies. That's what I was really interested in, but couldn't do it because of the timetable. And I ended up doing information systems. And I did physics and chemistry. Mum always wanted me to be an accountant. I think she saw that as a secure profession, and I think Mum and Dad's always want you just to have you want to be a doctor or an accountant or a lawyer if they think you're good at school. And I was good at school, but I didn't want to be a doctor, I didn't want to be an accountant, and I certainly didn't want to be a lawyer. My Mum and Dad were very keen for me to move school, but I was quite comfortable with where I was, so there was a bit of conflict at home because I wouldn't move school and wouldn't go and do it elsewhere. I was happy where my friends were, I was happy in the small school, in the small environment, so and at the end of the day they supported me and I got through it. My mum's a mammographer, she's like a radiographer, but specialises in breast cancer. And my dad's a farmer, so I grew up on a farm in Shotts, which was next to the school, which was really different. My brother's completely different from me. It's really interesting. He's now on the farm helping my dad, whereas I didn't want to do anything to do with the farm. At university, between the 1st and 2nd years, in the summers, I would go down and work on a farm down south, on a harvest farm where you worked 16 hours a day, every day for 10 weeks. And I loved it because I come home with so much money that I could then go and buy a very expensive car that no one else could afford. But didn't have a life for the whole of the summer, but that wasn't I was quite happy working all that hours just to earn the money. Long-term plans, I think that's always a challenge. Someone asked me, what do you want to do in 5 years? I said, well, I know I want to be successful, but I don't know where. There's a bit of peer pressure to go and do some further education. A lot of people around me are doing further education just now, and it's really making me think. I'd made a deliberate decision that I was not going to look for a graduate job, but I had to do qualifications. So I've had a year at Standard Life, which has been great, with no qualifications, no exams, just doing the job 9 to 5, enjoying my weekends. Whereas now I'm starting to think there's value in doing a qualification and looking at what you're going to specialise, what's going to be your knowledge, because everyone's got that kind of knowledge that they take to a meeting, and I'd quite like to have some specialised knowledge from that education. I used to be really into curling, and that was a sport that I did every weekend. It was completely my social life. And in my third year going to 4th year, I decided I won't do the curling, I'll drop that and focus on university. And that was my biggest regret, because you shouldn't. Aspects of your social life make you as you are, and not just your work and not just education. You've got to try and keep that intact, and I didn't manage that. So my biggest regret was giving up curling, because now that I've taken it back up, I'm 3 years behind all my peers who kept doing it and they're now winning the Scottish Championships, and they're off representing Scotland in different countries, and I'm back practising all the time just to try and get to the standard I was before I gave up. So that was my biggest time I went, that was the wrong decision.